We come this weekend to the grand culmination of our glorious celebration of Easter with this event of Pentecost. We recall that event of the sending of the Spirit which established the community of faith and fortified the church. This Spirit, this third person of the Blessed Trinity that continues to be with us, strengthening us and sustaining us always. We are meant to see that this event of the Spirit, this unbelievable gift of God Himself to be with us always, is meant for one purpose, and it is to unite us in the power of His love and to fill us always with His peace. Our first reading from the Acts of the Apostles recalls this event right before the passage that we heard from. The 11 apostles had gathered, and by the Holy Spirit they had chosen Judas to replace Judas, Matthias. And now we hear again that they are all in one place together. And that noise, like that strong driving wind, comes. And they begin to speak in different tongues as the Spirit enabled them to proclaim. All the people of the world are at that moment joined together. Each hears in their own tongues so that their differences are meant to be erased. That barrier of language that separates us, that is symbolic of all the things that separate us in the Christian community, is shattered. And again, this points to the deeper unity and community that is meant for all of us. The Spirit comes to accomplish what Jesus prays for at the Last Supper, that all may be one. As Father, you and I are one. This is His gift, so that you and I may be fully united in faith and in love. St. Paul demonstrates this in our second reading in his first letter to the Corinthians. He uses the metaphor of the body. What a powerful image. All of us here, in all of our different skills and talents, different perspectives, we are meant to be joined together in the same way that the body is comprised of all of those different elements, but they all serve one purpose. The differences among us are never meant to divide us, but they are meant to be complementary. They are all meant to work together for the one purpose that all of us share: proclaiming the saving truth and love of Christ. The human person is called to unity in a bond of love and kindness and civility among all of us who are parts of the human family. Unity is the very identity of God. Next Sunday we'll celebrate the solemnity of the Most Blessed Trinity, to see God in His identity of three persons but one God. And so you and I, who are made in His image and likeness, all division, all disunity is a very contradiction of God and an assault against His plan for us. And this unity can only come about in the power of His mercy. This is what we see in our gospel from St. John. We hear this gospel every year on the second Sunday of Easter. John connects the sending of the Spirit with that day of the resurrection. And he connects the sending of the Spirit with God's granting the power to forgive sins in His name. The message is clear, that without our being reconciled with God and then with one another, we can never know the peace that the Spirit intends to share with us. And so now, 2,000 years after that event, we still long so ardently for that peace and that unity. We see all the wars and the conflicts that plague our world and our nation. We know of the unrest and the agitation that can disrupt the human heart in the relationships that we have that are sometimes so fragile and strained. And so we come here to the one place and to the one person, the only person who can help us to satisfy the longing of every human heart. That Spirit comes to us, and the Spirit is with us. And I think sadly we maybe unintentionally ignore that too often. We need to remain united to Christ. We need to allow Him in this Eucharist to overwhelm us. And we need to see that the Eucharist is then this reality of unity, that in our being united to Christ by the power of the Holy Spirit, we are then united to one another in love. We need the awareness that the Holy Spirit, God Himself, is with us always and in us, given to us in our confirmation. May we allow that Spirit to work in us and among us, so you and I might grow more and more each day in this most sublime gift that we celebrate on this special feast of Pentecost, the gift of the presence of the very Spirit of God.